Buffmetal back with another video, and the topic of today's rant: virtue signaling will always ruin metal, extreme metal, punk, whatever it is, man. Virtue signaling is the opposite of metal in pretty much every single way, in my opinion. And yeah, this is why I don't really like a lot of hardcore music and stuff like that. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole with this a bit, and I brought some stuff out. I didn't grab too much stuff to make my point. But this is something I've kind of been mulling over just because, last night, basically we'll start with this, I guess. I was watching the El Duce tapes, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because I'm going to do a full video on El Duce and the mentors and stuff pretty soon. But regardless, man, this was a really good, I don't even want to say really good, it was a phenomenal documentary, man, all shot on like VHS footage, and I love this, this right here, check this out. They did like this comic book cover. It looks really cool. Now, do you think El Duce was a virtue signaler? You know what I'm saying? What is it that I talk about G.G. Allin enough? I could obviously bring him up in this conversation and, you know, all these really extreme characters in extreme metal, right? But the point that I want to make is I guess that one of the things that I like about metal in general and extreme metal is all these people, you know, these kind of actors in the scene and stuff, these characters, they claim, you know, they're evil, they're wicked, they're horrible, you know, they're disgusting and perverted and all this stuff, you know, and as you're watching them, you know, sometimes maybe you would think so. Let's start with an old band. You know, here's a band I talk about a lot, but I was just listening to this in the gym. But, you know, this is something that rock and rollers, I think, have always been meant to push the boundary of, right? Like, they're supposed to be, if you're a real metalist, you know, if you're a real rock and roller or an artist that, you know, is in this field, I think it's kind of your duty to be a little bad, because I think in that people find freedom, right? They find truth and honesty, you know. Human nature, do I think human nature is inherently good? No, probably not. And I think one of the reasons I'm into extreme metal and stuff like that in the first place is because I think it's a good reflection of, like, you know, what is in people and whatnot, you know, and I think the art kind of speaks on that. But this isn't just with extreme metal. Again, man, I talk about this band all the time, but they're one of my favorites ever, so I have to. Dude, do you think when Kiss came out, do you think they really gave a damn what everyone's opinion was about them? These guys were probably, you know, to the nuclear family, this was probably a nightmare, you know? This was probably, like, vile and disgusting. You take a song like I Stole Your Love, you kind of read between the lines of what that's about, right? And you're like, oh, that's kind of edgy, especially for back when this came out. Or even, you know, Love Gun, stuff like that. It's almost like, not violent, but like it grabs you a little bit, right? It's got balls, you know what I'm saying? And it's not saying, I love you, you are great. It's saying, I stole the love, you know what I'm saying? I'm a greaseball, and they really played up that greaseballness, you know, and again, kind of, I mean, El Duce did it to the extreme, but, you know, the point is there was one time I was watching this Kiss interview, and they went to Paul Stanley's house, and they had some, like, girls come out as he was coming down his stairs, and they made him seem like a real greaseball, you know, and that's sick, man. That I thought that was so cool. He's not trying to be like the pretty boy, the clean cut, you know, whatever, even though I would think in real life he's a bit more like that and a bit more reserved, and I think he's married and stuff like that. Same with Gene Simmons and you know, Ace Frehley. Do I think these characters are actually evil? No, but I think it's there's something that's always been so wimpy about music where people are claiming, I am the good guy and I will not take betrayal. And then the hardcore chugs come on. Dude, there's just literally nothing more cringe to me than that. Let's take another band here. Another band I like at the gym. Dude, Evil Army, man. This is such a great album here, dude. Fast, quick, dude. Just Driven to Violence, Realm of Death. You know, Sergeant Says, Kill. So many good songs. But what if this was Good Army? Army for Good. It'd be like some shitty fucking Sabaton knockoff or something, you know, like, dude, like, would you like it if it was based on goodness and all? Everything is good. No. You know why? because in the heart of all human beings, this is where we get into the Buffmetal philosophy. There's a desire for conflict, and there's desire for a bit of nastiness and letting loose and gross. And I think the best place, or at least my favorite place where that is expressed, is here in metal and in extreme metal and stuff like that. I don't need to hear about how good you are. Matter of fact, the more you tell me you're such a good person and you did this and that, the more I'm gonna think, wow, you're hiding something. You know what I'm saying? Take a band where the dude, probably is kind of a straight edge put together guy. Take Henry Rollins, right? I was listening to their first Damage, their first album, and you just think about the fact that, on that he's singing, we're gonna have a TV party, all right. And dude, he doesn't believe that. He doesn't like that. But he's singing from that perspective for his music because it's more relatable. It's more like tongue-in-cheek. And if you get it, you get more out of it, right? If you're in on the joke, dude, there becomes like this thing that you and the artist get to share, So I think that's way cooler. Six Pack, Henry Rollins doesn't drink, but dude, he's got that song Six Pack, and it's a banger, and about him. My girlfriend asked me which one I like better. Six Pack. I hope the answer don't upset her. Six Pack, dude, so good, man. It's like that would be a classic drinking tune right there, and it's done by a straight edge guy. Why? Because it's more cool to be on the side of the wickedness and the evilness. To some extent in art, that is. As far as being a human being goes, let's not kid ourselves. Don't be a douche, all right? Do what you got to do in life and be good to the people around you, all that. Do I have to say that shit, though? Again, the minute I start saying that, I'm like, I don't have to tell that to human beings. Human beings are going to be who they are. And if there was some kind of music, dude, imagine Christian rock, dude. You're going to take your life lessons from Christian rock. That's what's going to change people. No, it's not. It's a virtue signal. It's whack, and it's for wimps. You know what I'm saying, man? And it's kind of my take with music too. If you're hitting me with, especially hardcore and shit like that, I know I'm really shitting on hardcore today, but I've always hated that about it. It's funny because Black Flag, you could argue is one of those foundational bands for the hardcore movement and all that stuff. But again, they weren't saying I loved you, bitch, and you disappointed me, bitch. Dude, it's the cringiest thing I can possibly imagine. I don't know, man. Do you think Cannibal Corpse cared? If anything, Cannibal Corpse, talked to him with the Mutilated era and stuff like that, Chris Barnes, they wanted to be disgusting, vile, and wanted people to think, they were truly nasty, evil dudes. Especially you see Chris Barnes, the hair over the mic and stuff like that. It's insanity. It's crazy. It's scary a little bit, Dude, you listen to Alex Webster talk, though, for 5 minutes, and you're like, seems like an all right guy, So that's just my take of the day, dude. A little quick video today. Got a real cool crossover channel thing I'm doing tomorrow. I think you guys are going to like it. But for now, thanks for watching. Stay nasty.